You running, bro?
I think we're good. Yeah.
Oh, we're good.
Yeah. 5 seconds in is usually catches us going. Are we live yet? I don't know what's going on.
Oh, live.
I love this show.
Yeah, it was awesome. All right. Welcome to the show, boys and girls. This is another episode of the Old Man Gaming Hour.
Or so.
Today, we're going to have an interview. For most of you around the area know this man, Jeff Campbell-Crawley. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys. I feel uniquely qualified to be on your show.
Yeah, it's that bad.
Well,
Wow.
wow. It's more coming from the fact that I'm old.
Oh, well, you are also, you are the
I mean,
whole
like,
guest, probably.
I knew where he was coming from, and then Josh just dug a fucking hole for us. So cool.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, Jeff drops out of the call. Yeah, so this week we're going to do a little bit of Q&A for Jeff because, one, we're interested in how he runs things because he is the organizer and TO for the Michigan GT. How many years is that now, Jeff? Is this 11?
Yeah, this is the 11th official event. We got boxed out for a couple years there. Otherwise, it would probably be our 13th. Our first year was in 2013. And, we're still going strong.
That's
Love
awesome.
that. Save that shit for the interview. What do you...
It was one
This
question.
part of the interview.
It's all the show, man.
God, Josh.
Can we drop Josh out of this call?
Fucking aggressive.
Yeah, wow. All right. Josh, he woke up a few hours ago, so everybody just deal with it, I guess.
Been up since noon.
Yeah, that's the problem. Normally we catch you right out of waking up, and we're like, okay, or right at the tail end of your day, and you're mellow. Now you're like full fucking 100%.
This is vacation, Josh.
Oh, that's true. Well, that'll lead us into our first topic. This week, outside of Warhammer, what do you got, Josh?
I'm on vacation. We'll be until October, I think. I'm working 5 days this month, so should be a good month.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, life's hard.
Yeah, well, I did 13 days coming into this. I did 2 shows live from the Ohana room, as you can see. Now we're live from the basement, so we're back at home. Other than that, I'm going to go to London. I kind of wanted to go to Nottingham and check out Games Workshop, but I don't think I'm going to fit it in this time.
Big mistake.
I know. There's one day I could do it, but everything else, I've never been to Europe before, and I only have 4 days in England. Then I'm going to Ireland. So
3 of those days should be playing Warhammer at the TSN Arena. Is that what you're saying? Like that's would be like the thing, right? And then one day at Warhammer World.
I mean, he's up in Nottingham too, though. TSN Arena. Yeah.
Oh well,
Yeah.
shoot. Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe something will get canceled, and then I'll just go up there. I don't know. I'll have to think about that.
I mean, chance of crappy weather is high. I mean, you are going to Britain.
Yeah. I looked at the weather. It's supposed to be 70s and 80 one day, and
But like 1,000% chance of rain.
Well, I don't know. If it rains, it rains. If he dies, he dies. Right?
Okay, sure.
So.
Well, I haven't done anything but almost kill myself. So I don't really recommend being 40 plus years old and playing a doubleheader softball game in the 90-degree humidity with no wind or breeze. It was a rough day. It was a rough day for me. But yeah,
Did you win?
We won one game, we lost one game. Not really the point. I just go out there because my daughter decided she wanted to play some co-ed softball this year. So we're on a team together.
The guy who said that winning isn't everything never won anything.
Jeff, I just tried not to injure myself. That's the goal every week.
Goal, really.
Yeah. So it's basically all I did outside of Warhammer this week because we had a pretty busy week filled of Warhammer stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll get into here shortly. Jeff, do anything outside of Warhammer?
Yeah, I did something. I had forced my daughter into service yesterday, and we installed a magnetic screen for my dogs, so that instead of a screen door, it's like a hanging magnetized net.
Oh,
and
okay,
so the dogs can go in and out, and then the screen just magnetizes itself back shut. It's actually pretty slick, but
that sounds awesome.
yeah, but it ended up being a bit more of a project than I thought because I have a very, very old house built in the 1850s, and nothing is standard in my house. So whenever you do anything, it's got to be custom. So we had to kind of rig a frame for the screen and attach it to the outside of the door frame. So,
okay.
But, mission accomplished. Turnout. Success. The dogs are using it. So I guess it was worthwhile.
Yeah, it'd be one thing if you're like, oh, this is going to be an awesome idea. You put the screen up and the dogs are too afraid to go through it. Yeah.
Well, some highly motivated treats got them through it the first few times.
There you go.
Very well. So, yeah. So, yeah, that's pretty much it besides the old, work. So,
yeah.
And no one wants to hear about that.
No, I mean, we have to hear about it every week when Josh is like, I'm on day 9 of 13, still working. Not doing shit else but work. I'm like, cool.
Well, I mean, I also do
story.
Warhammer when we talk about the work desk.
Well, I'm glad that worked out for you, Jeff. It'd be, like I said, it'd be worse if you went through all that trouble and then it.
Yeah, right.
And they didn't even they're like, yeah, fuck that screen.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, they're all about it. So
Cool.
I think in the long term, it's going to be great.
All right, moving along. Talking about work desk because Jeff is at his right now. What do you got on the work desk right now, Jeff?
Well, so every year I do this thing because being a Warhammer junkie like everybody else here, I have a bad habit of buying more crap than I can actually put together and paint in a year. So the last few years I've been doing a goal where I will paint more than I purchased.
Ooh.
So I want to start netting more towards the painted side than the not painted side. So I am currently working on a epic scale Warlord Titan that I had picked up when the Adeptus Titanicus box came out like 4 years ago.
Nice. So
cracked that open and got it on my painting desk. I've been between my Age of Sigmar games, I've been dabbling in some of the Legions Imperialis, the epic scale.
Yeah.
30K stuff, which the scale is a blast. It's totally awesome. I've been loving it. And so, and my other goal this year was to not paint a new Age of Sigmar army and to get caught up on other projects. So that's what I've been working on.
So you like that game? I've been thinking about playing it. I have a few buddies up at the shop that play. But it's
that's the tiny
Marines,
scale one, right?
Yeah, the tiny scale,
yeah.
8mm. Yeah. The cool thing there's a lot of cool things about it. It's a I go, you go with your units instead of, whole side.
Yeah.
So I like that aspect of it a lot. I also really like the scale is a blast. Normally when you play 40K, you're, especially in the more recent years, not that I've been playing it much in recent years, but they've been really moving towards like the big tanks and the knights and stuff like that. And it just doesn't work great on that scale.
Right.
But on this scale, it works amazing. So it allows you to play with all these, super big toys, and it actually feels right.
I like it. Yep. I been thinking about it, and I got a couple buddies that play, like I said. So maybe
you got some buddies up. You got some buddies up here that play too, Josh.
Well, and there you go. That's what I'm saying. Maybe one of these days I'm gonna have to come in and we'll fucking throw it down.
Yeah, that'd be a blast. I'm down.
What are you working on right now, Jake?
Nothing.
Oh man, always working on nothing.
To be fair, I did paint our trophies.
That's true.
I mean,
that counts.
Does it count as hobby?
It counts
it's
as
Warhammer
something.
related and paint. So
I believe it was
like,
literally spray paint.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, it's rattle cans, but who gives shit? It's paint.
If I was painting GT terrain, I'd be counting it. So
yeah, well, Tim paints all of our terrain. So
yeah.
we really can't count that.
Yeah, well, I have some terrain I probably should paint.
Yeah, you should.
I have that. I got some of those houses that are not done, some trees, but yeah, I probably should paint that stuff too.
That's basic and quick, isn't it?
It's quicker than doing what Jeff's doing.
No, terrain is a lot faster to paint than miniatures by a large percentage.
Mostly,
there's just not there's not the detail. Rarely, I should say, is there a high amount of detail on terrain.
How would you go about painting? Let's just hypothetically, Jeff, if you have terrain and it's on a slightly larger scale than you would think, how would you go about painting a terrain feature filled with mushrooms?
Oh,
how big are the mushrooms?
Like, I don't know, probably like a 50 mil character in AoS size per mushroom.
Oh, that's pretty big. I'd airbrush the crap out of that. I'd be hitting that up with the airbrush, not even looking back.
Yeah. That seems like the smartest choice.
Yep.
That's an inside joke for us.
Okay.
We have a fucking mushroom table.
What do they use? What did they use to paint it?
Well, I'm sure he used. Yeah, I'm sure he
tried
to bang it out with a brush. It's Tim. I don't know if he even has an airbrush, but
he might not.
But if he doesn't, he should invest in one.
Especially since he wants to do all this terrain, which is fine.
Yeah,
he does some really nice stuff.
Yeah, if you're gonna be painting terrain, you got to have an airbrush, or you're just asking for doom.
Yeah.
Maybe that was we're gonna have to do that at some point because we're gonna need like a lot more. I know, Josh, you've been working on some stuff, haven't you?
Yeah. Yep. So
the endless pile of shame.
Yeah. So I take the opposite approach of Jeff. I try to buy as much stuff as possible and paint none of it.
Well, yeah, and when I was your age, Josh, I also had that approach, which got me into the problem I'm in today.
Yeah. Well. I mean, I don't know. I've been working on the slaves. Played them in the game this weekend. We're going to talk about shortly, and I think I don't know if I'm going to get them done for MIGT. So I was thinking about what I can play in MIGT if I don't get that done. I'm not real sure, but as it is right now, I am building Lumineth Realm Lords.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
I can talk about those.
Yeah, so I've been printing a bunch of base toppers for them, and then building what I have so I can kind of get an idea of what I would need for an army. So right now I'm working on those. Sorry, Jake, 1 second, and then you can chat. I don't even know the. Your Durulian River Blades.
Oh, the River Blades, the Warcry Warband.
Yep. So that's what I'm building right now.
All right.
I'm gonna have at least one of those in my army. So
I haven't even taken a close look at that unit. I don't own it. That's the only unit I don't own.
It teleports.
It teleports. Okay, well that's good.
It only teleports to board edges, but it teleports, so it can get you.
It's a little something.
Yeah, it can get you where you need to be.
Yeah, it's not nothing. Although the fox is moving like 45 inches every turn.
No, he's way slower. He's way slower now. Don't.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
He moves 18.
He literally
shoots and then moves 18 again.
Yeah, he moves 18, shoots, and moves 18 again. Severus.
He doesn't move after he shoots.
Yes, he does.
Yes, he does.
Oh, I missed that rule.
That's 100% true.
Yeah, it's
I thought they took that away.
No, it is one of the faction abilities now.
Oh yeah, I don't play with that faction ability. That's not good enough to play with.
Oh, we'll see.
Oh, seemed real good yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, no, the faction. Well, I don't know. I mean, we can debate this all night, but I've been liking the faction ability. Oh gosh darn it, which one is it? Is it the defensive abilities? Well, that's the one that's on all of them, right? Where if you what's the defensive formation called for them? You minus one to
During
hit
as a
them.
rock, subtract
No.
1 from rend.
No, that's not it. What are the other ones, Josh?
Plus
You're
one
looking
to,
at them.
Yep, +1 to casting.
Mhm.
Lightning reflexes. That just is the automatic passive one where you get to attack with 2 units. Then the
Okay.
shooting phase one where you can pick 3 friendly hurricane units that are
No.
not in combat to move after they shoot. Power of Heish where they
Yes, that's the
Okay.
one. Power of Heesh.
score critical hits on unmodified of
Yes.
5. Yeah, but you can do both. If you
Okay.
take the battle formation that lets you automatically do the moving and shooting one,
Right. Yeah, I just
then
have
you
been
can
taking. I've been taking the other one that allows you the -1 to hit all your forces, which that one's sick too.
I don't see that. Oh, it's the last one.
Yeah.
So Shining Company.
Shining Company. Yes.
Yep. Subtract
Yeah.
1 from hit rolls that target.
Yeah.
Yeah,
-1 to be hit for practically your whole army is.
Venari. Yeah.
But all right, but
My
they have
list
there's
has
great
0
Venari
Venari.
units out there. Oh, well, that's a problem.
Yeah. Well, the list I'm thinking about playing.
Yeah, well,
but it does have 3 foxes.
I can tell you the Sentinels are bonkers good.
Yeah, I do. I've heard that because you put them in your generals unit, and then you get +1 to hit and against other generals units. But
Yes,
Yeah.
well,
That's
not to
Kevin.
mention, then you get Power Heesh and they auto wound on 5s, and for a command point, you can shoot them all again in your opponent's turn. I mean, 40 shots per turn with auto wounds on 5s is
pretty good.
Well, I'm sorry, it's 80 shots a turn because they have 2 shots apiece
20.
now.
Yeah.
You're gonna bring 20. Yeah, they're insane.
Well, I mean, I have 20 bowmen. Maybe that'll be the army. We'll see. But I'll tell you right now, they're gonna nerf the shit out of being able to add the generals, the +1 to hit and wound. I think for shooting.
Yeah, not even counting on that one. You don't even need it for that
huh?
unit to be bonkers.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking for 5s and 6s anyway. Who cares about the +1 to hit?
Yeah, I mean, if you're rolling 80 dice, critting on 5s, just keep rolling dice.
Just keep rolling dice.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think I've owned LRL for a really long. I mean, it's probably one of the middle armies that I picked up, not one of the first or the last. But I've never really. The problem is, I gave it to a buddy and said, "Here, build this for me. Here's X amount of dollars." And then 2 years later, I just got the last of my units back from him unbuilt. So, yeah. So I'm gonna. Wasn't this buddy?
Wasn't this buddy?
No, it was one of the guys at the game room in Toledo. But and he's done other work for me before, and he usually does a pretty good job. This time, my man did not come through clutch. He's not on the chat right now, so I don't have to call him out.
Yeah, I mean, like,
so
I
I'm
wish
looking
I could
forward to playing those, but I won't get them painted.
I will have some stuff. I will have some stuff soon on the work desk. It's coming. I've ordered some things.
Just more nights.
Yep. gotta have more big nights because they're just my best unit. So.
What are you bringing up for your Fleshier Cords?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they made them the best knight unit in the army by far. Well, maybe not by far, but I mean they have mobility, they have fly, they have retreat and charge. So, and they're cav with +1 to damage. So,
+1 damage is good.
Yeah, I mean I kind of need to use them, so I needed some more. I'm trying to get those in the mail, get those mocked up, and I'm a slow as shit painter, so I got a month, right, to get these things painted and ready.
Less than a month. You got less than
27 days.
And you're right around there, yep.
I might be able to do that.
Worst case scenario, I'm gonna spray paint some ghosts and play with them in MI. That's my backup plan.
I'd make that your number one plan.
Primary plan.
Yeah.
It may be. I have.
How long are you going to be in Europe, Josh?
Only 10 days. I got time.
All right.
So
he's painted a whole army in 10 days before.
Yeah. For Adepticon last year, 10 days before the tournament, I decided I didn't want to play Lizardmen anymore. And so I painted Soulblight Gravelords in 10 days.
Oh, geez, oh, Pete.
And
hardcore
those days, yeah. Just got to put in the work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't paint that fast.
Well, I mean, I have, so like while I work a bunch of days in a row, I also have full days off, way more often than a lot of people.
Right.
So like I'll do a week on, week off all the time.
Sure.
And so on my week off, I mean, I stay up all night, even unless I have more than 8 days off, I just stay up.
Oh, it's not worth changing your sleep schedule for it. Yeah, makes sense.
Right. Yep. And so, I just stay up and I put in the work, and I'm just hanging out watching movies and either that or I go over to Jake's house for a little while and then go home and paint or build. So, I get a lot done on my nights off.
Sweet.
So, we'll see. We'll see what army I get ready for it. There's I know I'm, so I don't want to give anybody any hints.
Okay. So you plan against Josh. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's calling a shot, everybody.
Yeah.
Josh is taking the event.
If it's going to be Night Haunt, I mean, I got a 67% chance according to according to Rob's video today. True. So
yeah, they're doing all right now, aren't they?
Yeah.
And actually, that's a pretty good segue into what we want to talk about next is the recent events. We had our own RTT down here yesterday at our local store here in Monroe. I think for the most part, this is our second RTT we ran, and we sold out very quickly again. Had a couple drops, but filled those in too later on.
That's great.
I think for the most part, I mean, and maybe you can say something about this too, Jeff, is the Michigan player base is gigantic, and they travel well.
They do travel well, and it is pretty good size. I mean, it's hard for me to gauge because I don't know what other local areas have compared to us, but it's a good, healthy crowd, that's for sure. Right. And they do travel well. I mean, it's I'm always surprised at how many travelers we get over at Hoplite for little small tournaments and stuff, which is always great to see.
Yeah, and it's like I guess our location compared to where you guys are at too, it's like an hour and a half, right? So if you're looking at like an hour and a half driving range, is pretty doable for a one-day thing.
Oh, 100%.
And so we drew some people. We had some people from Ohio that came up.
Right.
We also had represented. We had Flint and Canton and Grand Rapids. We had one from Grand Rapids that came over.
Wow, who came up from Grand Rapids?
Justin Crandall.
Crandall. Okay, yep. Right on. Good dude.
And then we had, a mixture of guys that were local. We had two guys that never played in an RTT before sign up and play.
Okay.
So that was awesome.
What did they think? What did they think?
Had a blast.
How was their experience?
Yeah, they had a real good time.
Nice.
They kept thanking me over and over for running it. And
cool.
Cool. Josh just dropped. Josh needed to quit clicking on stuff. Boy, oh boy! I tell you what, this thing. Well, he'll be back someday. I don't know why he clicks on stuff.
I think he just gets bored.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, why? Why? We just had it fixed.
So, what were those new players playing?
One of the new guys had an Ideneth army that was like. Oh, you should have seen this paint job on this thing, Jeff. It was like fantastic.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and come to find out, these guys are from the Monroe area.
Okay.
And they found out about our RTT through one of the Michigan Meetup Facebook groups.
Okay.
That they belong to.
Oh, really? All right.
Yeah, and so it was like out of the blue, like. I never knew these guys prior,
Right, and that's your area, right?
Yep.
Monroe. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, it was pretty cool to get those guys in there, and they said they had a pretty good time. Like I said, oh, Josh is back. You got to join the Discord call, Josh. There you go.
I know. Yeah, we're good now.
This fucking show.
He's back.
The kid decided for the first time in 30 years to do some dishes, and I almost texted him because I knew he was going to do it. Like lately, he's been real responsible and doing shit, and he ended up.
Don't touch nothing while Dad's doing the show.
Right. I mean, you got one job, not to do what you never do. So.
So anyways, Jeff was just asking me about the couple of new guys that came to our RTT and what they thought about it and stuff.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to look at that Ideneth army, the one guy was playing?
I did.
Paint job on it. That thing was fucking beautiful.
CK, you liked it?
No, not CK.
There was another. Oh, an Ideneth army.
Yeah,
no, I didn't
Ideneth
see that
army.
one.
Yeah, he was one of the newer guys. Austin was his name.
Okay.
Anyways,
no, not get a chance to
the
look
bases on him, he did like half the base was a beach, and the
Nice.
other half was like waves crashing into the beach. You know,
Great.
so
Heck yeah.
that was really good with like water effect paste and stuff. You know,
Yeah, I've thought
Sure.
about doing something like that before.
his
myself.
his big turtle was all N&M painted up.
Mhm.
And yeah, that was pretty awesome. But this is the weirdest thing, and maybe you see this sometimes, Jeff, or not. But so these guys from my hometown,
Mhm.
not in my play group,
Mhm.
don't come to the game store on the AOS nights that we play. They play
Right.
Basement Hammer with 6 of their buddies.
6.
Yeah, they have a 6-man
Okay.
group of guys that play in their basements.
All right.
They've never played an RTT before, and they thought, we'd like to play some events, we just don't know. And then they found us posting in the Michigan Meetup Facebook group,
Mhm.
decided to give it a go. 2 of them came out, and they're like, this is awesome. We've never played 3 games in a day before. This is the best. So, yeah, it was really cool.
That's great.
And then, funnily enough, they actually, in round 3, had to play each other.
Oh,
So-
No, that
could
sucks.
go any other way.
I know, it was funny for me, but I was like, oh no, Wyatt, these guys are at an event, and they have to play each other. But no, they said they had a good time even in that game, so.
Well, that's good. And
Yeah.
you said CK showed up also?
CK
Yep,
was
CK
there.
was
Yep.
there too.
Well, if CK shows up, it's a good event. That's guaranteed.
Oh, is that the barometer?
Well, he's just an amazing guy. So,
Yeah, I had a chance to talk with him afterwards. We a handful of the guys wanted to go out to eat or whatever,
mhm.
so I joined those guys. It was Justin Messer, Rob Molshine, CK,
Mhm.
John Harris.
Sure.
Oh, he's gonna kill me now. Oh, Justin Grayson
Okay.
and his buddy Logan.
Right on.
So yeah, we all met
Sounds
up
like
at a restaurant and bar, and
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
it
a
was,
good group
it was
of
nice to
dudes
get to
right
talk
there,
to those
so.
dudes outside of like playing games too. You know.
Yeah. They're all good guys. A lot of fun.
Yeah, I was unable to go to that. I was barely functioning by the time we left. I think I had slept 3 hours. I'm still trying to flip. I've only been off of work for 5 days now, so I'm still trying to get to like a regular schedule.
Oh, sure.
So yeah, I didn't get to make it to that. Plus, Ethan was with me, and he was pretty tired too. So, but yeah, I mean, that sounds like it was probably a good time. A lot of people went out there.
Yeah.
Where'd you guys go?
Northside Bar and Grill.
All right.
It's a cool little spot. I don't get up that way that much because it's on the north side of town, but they're heading back north, so I told them that's probably what they should hit up. But yeah, so we ended up having 20 players,
Cool.
which was 2 more than our RTT in May. And like I said, we had guys coming from all over the place. And it ended up, Rob Molshine took the victory with his
Rob's a good player.
nasty list he was bringing. You want to hear this list, Jeff?
Bring it.
Disciples of Tzeentch, Kairos.
Dude, Tzeentch is good right now. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Good
Kairos.
is not.
This is stupid. Okay. So, General's Regiment, Kairos Fate Weaver,
Yep.
a reinforced unit of Blue Horrors,
Yep.
a Chaos Spawn,
Yep.
2 units of Pink Horrors,
Yep.
Regiment number 1, Lord of Change,
Yep.
reinforced Blue Horrors, reinforced Blue Horrors, and a
Ooh.
Change Caster.
Wow.
So 3 total reinforced units of Blue Horrors with 2 pinks to back them up.
Yeah.
And he stood in his spots and never moved.
Yeah. That's how
It was like-
it would work.
Oh, it was so
Yeah.
gross.
I've been. Jacob Dungy's been messing with a similar list, though not as many. He had the 2 pinks and the blue. He didn't have the other 2 blues. He had a couple other things mixed in.
I'll
instead,
tell you what, you'll never kill him.
But you
No.
also
You'll
never
never get
finish a
through
game.
those. Well, that was the
Yeah.
problem.
What was that, Josh?
You'll never finish a game.
Well, oh yeah. Well, that's
I mean,
kind of Rob's MO, right? He's had a lot of armies like that over time where
He likes
he's
running hordes.
hordes.
That's for sure.
He likes running hordes, and you can run into problems where you're not finishing games. So you got to be careful that your army is an early scorer and not a late scorer, or you're going to get in trouble just from running out of time.
Well, he also made a comment afterwards too. He said he was sitting down at the end, and he said, "I don't think I could ever play 5 games with this army." So I don't think he'll ever. He just looks so fucking exhausted afterwards.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff to move, man. You're busy. You know,
it's
a
a lot
of
of thinking.
it's
It's
a lot of
also
thinking, a lot of dice.
It's recursion too, because those things die and come back, and
Yeah, I've been thinking about this, and I mean, and you don't always have a choice, but if you're playing Tzeentch demons, that Lord of Change has got to be public enemy number 1,
yeah, for sure.
because you just got you can't absorb. I mean, it's hard enough to chew through those units once, but then if you're having to do it multiple times, and also the question I have, and I haven't found anything to state otherwise, but when you're resummoning those demons, are they considered a new unit of half size, or are they bringing the old unit back and you can rally them back up to full size?
I think it's a new unit half size. I don't think
Yeah,
that you can rally anything back.
I don't
to
think
full
anything
anymore.
in the game allows you to re-up the unit size anymore. At
Okay.
least not that we've come across yet, anyway.
I mean, it hasn't been clearly stated, right?
Well, I
'Cause
mean,
I
they don't have the word. I don't think they have the wording like you're saying, like is a new
Okay.
unit, or I think it just says you can bring back a unit at half strength. But again, I don't think there's Flesh Eaters used to be able. There was wording in their recursion that said you could top it off back to full strength.
Right. I guess the question is whether it says you bring this unit back or you bring a unit on the board, right? That's kind of the
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
And I'm not exactly sure how it's worded.
It's the
Well, you got a
who is
month
it,
to
the
figure
Lord
it
of
out,
Change
Jeff.
That does it?
Yeah, right. You're not kidding. What was that, Josh?
Is it the Lord of Change that does it?
Yeah, this Lord of Change. And also another unit I've been very impressed with from that.
It says. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you.
No, you're fine.
It says
Please.
discard 1 destiny die and then pick a friendly non-unique or non-hero Disciples of Tzeentch demon unit that has been destroyed to be the target. Set up a replacement unit with half the number of models. So,
All right,
replacement.
I think a replacement unit says it all. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. So, and another unit in there that's gross is the is it the Flamers? Yeah, the Flamers. Those guys are
Yeah, they can be
bonkers.
pretty nasty too. I think we said that when we read through the initial pack. I think.
Yeah.
Right. Well, the fact is, after they start getting flame tokens down, they give them the plus to wound. I mean, you can be in situations where you're like 2s and 3s with a -1 and then D3 damage. It's just, it's gross. It's gross. The 12-inch range isn't so bad, but boy, when they get up on you, man,
I
eat you
feel like
up.
you're saying that from experience.
I am. Yep. I've had to play him a couple weeks in a row, and it's the sting is still there. Let me tell you.
Well, I'm glad that I didn't have to play Rob yesterday, because that would have been torture. I just know it would have been torture, just to do everything your army can do, and then he just goes, "Okay, well, you didn't do really anything."
Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jake needs to learn that from last edition, anyways, because he's notorious for playing armies that are like, "Oh, you killed everything, cool. Well, I got it all back again." So
Well, I mean, like recursion's good. Our second place finisher though was Mr. Michael Roush.
No, was it?
Yeah.
I thought John took second.
No, John played Rob in the last round, and he
lost
took
in the last round.
Yeah.
So were Mike and Rob both undefeated?
Yep.
Okay.
But Rob eked him out in points.
Okay. And was he bringing his OBR?
Yeah, he brought an OBR with some cav and the handful of hard to kill heroes, Catacross and
cav.
Liege Cavalos.
Sure. His same. Did he have the catapults, or was he moving on to a different list?
Yeah, no, I think he did that at a test at your place, and then he was like, "Nah, I don't think that's it."
Okay.
But yeah, he ran. Let's see, Catacross, a Mortis Guard, Liege Cavalos, Vok Morton, the Master of Bone Tithe, and then a big block of cav, and a reinforced Morghast Archive unit also.
Nice.
So giant hammer, giant cav unit, big heroes. Yeah. Hey, I mean, he pilots OBR pretty good anyway, so
he does. Yeah. He's a very good player.
Yeah.
Very, very good player.
And then John Harris rounded out the top three with a Nighthaunt list, the standard. Standard.
Yeah. The Nighthaunt crunch is what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's just hard to deal with. Josh, you played him, right?
I played against
round
him.
2.
Yep.
I think.
So I beat my first round guy pretty well. Played against Slaves of Darkness. What's his name?
Justin, I think. Justin Messer, I think.
Yeah.
He played.
Yep. I played Justin Messer, and he just had a couple bad turns, but otherwise it was a pretty close game. And then I played John. I thought I had him. I blasted. My Vanguard took off in one turn a unit of Blade Geist and a unit of the little knife girls. I can't remember what they are.
The Harridans.
Okay.
Yeah. So 30 models in one turn, and then it just didn't matter. Like then he came in with a bunch of cavalry and a bunch of other Blade Geists, and just peeled off my unit. And
so what? I haven't had the chance to play against him yet in 4th. So what is the thing that's making them so tough?
Well, they're really fast, so they can run and charge, or retreat and charge, or just charge out of combat. They can, they basically, so everyone has gone up in points because of, things like Rend, for infantry or whatever, like.
And Rend just doesn't matter against
and they
them.
just ignore all of those rules.
Right.
Also, they're just undercosted, I think.
Okay, they're a little
they're real cheap. Yeah, the units are still cheap, and you can bring a ton of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, he had a unit of 20 horses, hex wraiths. He had 2 units of 20 Blade Geists. He had a unit of 10 of the little knife girls. He had the boat guy. He had the Lady O. He had the executioner. What else? I mean, I feel like,
what didn't he have?
I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah, it was like when you look at the table, Jeff. I mean, it's swamped with models.
Right, and I mean, I blew 2 units off the table. He brought one of them back at half again, and I still just didn't have enough. And I mean, I'm playing a Bellicor, Vanguard, like a tough list.
Right.
And he didn't care.
Well, it's kind of feeling like these armies that have units that get to come back for free at half strength. Sounds like some of them need to get a little bit adjusted for points.
And it was yes, but it wasn't really the unit that he got back for free.
Mm-hmm.
It was the units that I didn't kill. I mean,
Fair, yeah.
Like if he just brought back one unit at 10 men, I was like, okay, cool. But like I killed 2 units with 1 unit, and then he took that unit off the table like it was nothing.
Well, so, again, like still the problem.
He got a double turn. He got a double turn, which is what allowed him to do it. Otherwise, I may have gone over and got him. But
the double turn is still vicious. Yeah. Even with the fact that the person can't score battle tactics, man, a lot of time it's still not enough.
Yeah,
it's not enough to deter that taking that turn, especially in like turn 2 or 3 when you're just in position to hit with everything. It's brutal.
I don't think there's been a game where we haven't used it when me and Jake played.
I'm still a giant proponent of taking less points to do more devastation.
Yeah. Yep,
it's too good to not do it.
It's too good, right? I mean, it doesn't really matter so much if you're down on points if they don't have any models left to score with, right?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, so what? And to go along with that too, and I don't know how many games you've played yet, Jeff, in 4th, but
I've probably got a dozen in by now.
So, have you ever played a game where you've gotten all your tactics?
No, see? But I have had games where I've gotten, like 4.
Saying. Right. So if you already know that you're going to drop a tactic here or there, and you have the opportunity to take the double, that's the same thing.
Sure. Like, Are you really giving up that much? Is what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, at some point in the course of the game, you drop a tactic, or you can't hold enough objectives, so you're down 2 to 4 points in a turn anyway. But if you have the opportunity to slap the shit out of your opponent,
you got to take it.
Yeah. So
it'll be interesting to see what they do with the battle tome tactics if they do that this time.
Oh sure, yeah.
I really hope they don't just put 6 in there that are super easy. I kind of don't mind the 2 per Grand Alliance thing that they're kind of doing. So if you had 2 that you could pull out of your book, that wouldn't be so bad. But
I wouldn't even mind if they didn't do them at all.
Oh, I too wouldn't mind if they didn't. Yeah, I'm right there with you. But I'm just kind of thinking, what are the odds, right?
Well, they like to do that as a way to get an army more wins.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you don't need to do that. If it's just all universal plus the 2 Grand Alliance ones, or if you just wanted to add like a 3rd Grand Alliance one. That'd be more fair than saying, oh, this one particular army, if they get out of a boat, they win. If they get in the boat, they win.
Yeah, and that's the problem, right? Yeah. Is they have not always done the best job of keeping those balanced. There was the 2nd edition Daughters of Cain, where they had 6 easy objectives that they could do out of that. And then you look at
charge with 2 units. Well, you do that.
It was stupid.
Crazy.
Right. It's just you're just playing your regular game and getting extra points for it.
Yeah.
Where you could have other things like the, Beasts of Chaos, for example, where some of theirs were locked to specific sub factions. So if you were playing a sub faction, you had not, you couldn't score that one anyway. So just always hasn't been well thought out. So I'm with you. I would rather them not do anything, and just keep changing the Grand Alliance ones every new General's Handbook, Yeah,
that'd be fine. That'd be fantastic, actually.
I'd like them to be a little bit more balanced too, though. I feel like, certain sides, like Order is like, go stand in all 4 board corners. Okay.
Yeah, but that's and be 6 inches away from an enemy, though. It's not just standing. It's not easy to do.
It's 9 inches, isn't it?
Whatever it is you got to be away from stuff, and it's a problem.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's not easy, Josh. It really isn't. I mean, especially getting in your
countercharges you or redeploys closer to you or some dumb shit. Then it's just
one command point can foil that pretty easily.
Yeah. Well, you're not wrong. Well, another reason. Sorry that ghosts are super stupid right now. is because you are bringing the what are those little teleporter guys?
Oh, the Herodins? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or no, the Dreadblythe Harrows or whatever.
Yeah, Dreadblythe Harrows, they basically can teleport during your turn or your opponent's turn.
Oh,
so
geez.
during your opponent's movement phase, you start them in the back corner, and then you put them somewhere they're not going to get hit during their movement phase, and then they're just in position to score.
And if you move closer to him, then he at the end of your turn phase, he teleports away from you again. You can't kill him. You can't touch him. The only way to kill those guys is with damaging spells in your hero phase if you're in range.
Pretty much.
So they're just they can just run around the board and grab three easy tactics.
Sure. Sounds annoying.
And they don't do anything else, but they're like the most efficient unit for scoring, easy battle tactics.
Yeah, for sure.
And so they take the flanks, then they take a piece of terrain on your side of the table, and then they also have one where they're the ones that have
the death
two
one
guys,
where you just have to be in your opponent's zone
9
inches away. But
now, see, that is easy. Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So that's 12 points right there. You take away 12 points, and I win that game. So
okay, I can see where that's frustrating.
Yeah, it is what it is.
I mean,
it's what it is, right?
I mean, if they keep the ability the same and raise those things from like what are they 160 or something right now to like
they're 160,
200 or 210 or something like that, then you really have to make a choice on whether you take them or not.
I mean, they're automatic battle tactics.
I don't know if they go to 300.
You score 12 points without doing anything.
Well, maybe the thing is they have to not be able to do that in your opponent's movement phase.
That is the fix.
That is the part
That's
that sounds
the fix.
like it's really broken. Right. It's that, it can almost like the old Severeth where he could do the 12-inch movement in any shooting phase.
Right. Yeah. Then you could never catch him. Right. So crazy.
Yeah, he was annoying.
But even then, it's one guy, not 2 units of 2. So if you do happen to kill one, then they can
still
just
exists.
Rally it back. Or if you happen to kill them both, then they can resurrect that unit back and still have one. I mean, it's
right.
Yeah, it's super cool. I liked it a lot.
Jeff got some horror stories from yesterday. I unfortunately didn't get the opportunity to play any games in the tournament.
Oh, were you the one running the show?
Well, I was running it, but we didn't have any last minute drops for me to fill in.
Okay, so you had even numbers, huh?
Yeah. So,
isn't that the worst as a TO? Because I love odd numbers so I can play.
Yeah. I felt that way for 10 hours yesterday, which was awesome. I mean, I did like going around and, bullshitting with people and mingling and that kind of thing.
Absolutely. That part's fun, but
it's also
is also fun.
Cool, there's 20 people in this room playing Warhammer, and I am the one that's not.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Welcome to my world.
So I think we made an executive decision, Josh and I, that we are going to register for all of our own events from now on.
Okay.
As far as RTTs go, anyway.
Are you going to exempt yourself from winning then?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We won't win any of the prizes. Now, if we perform well, that'd be cool, but I apparently have this history of underperforming in RTTs.
Okay.
Just at Jeff's RTT.
Yeah, that was Jeff. I opened the door for you, Jeff, and you didn't walk through it, so cool. That was awful. That was awful.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
It was probably my worst showing at a tournament since I started playing this game. So that was real cool.
Well, I'm glad you could do it up at our shop. So
yeah, it was awesome to travel.
At least it was spacious, right?
Yeah, I know. Every game was fun. It's just one of those things where it's like, I think I told you early on. I was like, I knew this list wasn't going to work right as soon as I had my first game, and was like, I got to suffer through a couple more of these games and just.
Right, isn't that the worst when especially early in because that was what 2 weeks after the edition drop. So it was like super early, and so you're still kind of gauging things in your head and stuff. You're like, well, this could work, and then you get it on the table, like, oh, this doesn't work, and then you're at a tournament going, crap, now I'm locked in for the whole day.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even tweak my list in between games, it's just, not always the best environment.
It didn't help that he didn't get a lot of play testing with me in before that either, because I was working so much during that. I mean, I worked most of July,
it's still fine though. It's you learn some things about what your units can't do when you realize they're not as powerful as you thought they were going to be.
Right.
So that list went straight in the garbage, and we moved on.
And and also your Army's 39% win rate right now. So
yeah, I mean that's just because I'm not playing events.
Oh,
I'll bring the percent up. Yeah.
It actually sounds like you're dragging it down there, Jacob.
Well, I mean, I don't want them to get nerfed.
So I think you're part of the problem, not part of the solution.
Look, if we stay down at like 40% win rate, we will only get buffs. So,
I mean, that's legit.
If we can get some cheaper units, that'd be fantastic.
Right.
But yeah, so all in all, though, I think our RTT again went real smooth. There was an actual fuck ton of questions, though, which I'm sure you're used to, Jeff. But yeah, it was like, how does this work? I go, what are you trying to do? And then they explain it, and I go, yeah, hold on, let me go look that up, because it's like, those like one-off things that happen in a game sometimes or whatever that you don't have a lot of experience with on which is the actual right call. And so it was like, oh shit, okay, going to hit the rule book. Let me see what the wording is. And
did you find your answer?
Yes, because at least GW was super smart in one regard on putting FAQs in the app, to where you can, when you search for things in the reference section of the app, the FAQ section stuff comes up when you're searching certain keywords or whatever. So,
all right, that's good.
Now, the incognito little update they did 4 days ahead of our event was kind of weird. But I told those guys we're going to use those rules because most of them fixed some of the crazy manifestations.
Oh, okay. What do they do? I don't think I caught that.
The couple things that were a problem beforehand were the Morbid Conjuration set of endless spells, two of which had janky movement things, like the Purple Sun and the Gravetide. They had a move. They have a move ability on their War Scroll, so you could use that instead of actual move.
Oh,
so
okay.
And it let you
drag people into combat and stuff.
Yeah, you could like move into combat using that, and
so
basically now they just
combat.
Yeah, they basically they edited the wording and says you can do this, but you cannot end in combat.
Okay, that easy fix
with a new unit or something like that. So yeah, it fixed the jank stuff on those.
Good.
So I thought that was smart to use those rules, and then they made some other tweaks in there, but it was better to use that rule set than trying to use the old janky ones. So, but yeah, but just being there as a TO, you get a lot of questions. You know what I mean?
Yep. Oh, yes, I do.
So we had one scenario which was really weird because the players, we had a table with no obscuring or typical obscuring terrain on it.
Okay.
But they wanted to use obscuring terrain because that's what the map said or whatever, right?
Oh, and one of the guys I think was CK, right? And so he was playing a lot of shooting, and so the other guy probably was like, "Oh shit, we need."
Sure.
Yeah. So they took apart a building and used the base of the building as the obscuring piece of terrain, but the bottom part of that building had walls.
Okay.
So he deployed his unit inside of the building. And then there was some interactions like, can we fight through walls? Or,
okay.
You know what I mean? Like, it's obscuring, but also he's in combat range of me. So we had to look up some of those.
Yeah, I don't think it matters, right? They can still fight, I believe.
They cannot.
They cannot.
They cannot.
Fight through walls. Nope. You can't fight through walls.
Even if you're in combat range, If there is a wall, you are actually not considered in combat with that unit.
I was not aware
because
of that.
they are not visible to you.
Okay, so your hand-to-hand unit must be visible. Okay.
Yeah. And that's not listed on every piece of rule text either. It's under the picking units rule set instead of like the fight ability or combat.
Sure.
Yeah, so there was some weird things where we had to look up a couple things, but kind of expected
good job.
that.
Good job.
Like a 4th edition thing where it's like maybe someone hasn't played a bunch of games before and now they're just starting to play some games, and it happens to be a tournament where you're playing 3 games in a row and you're playing different armies and all these different interactions that you got to look up the rules for. And
very typical.
Yep. But it was a lot of fun. Everybody said they had a good time again, so we'll keep doing these.
Cool. When's your next one?
We're gonna do the next one. Well, we'll get right into that part. Yeah. So our next segment, Jeff, is upcoming events.
Upcoming events.
Jeff is a fucking pro at this. He's just like, so lead into your next topic that I don't know anything about. So upcoming events. We have another RTT planned, and we don't have dates set for that yet, but we're gonna shoot for end of October, early November.
Nice.
Sometime around that time frame, depending on what our schedules are and whatever. The store's usually pretty free on the weekends, so it's not like they have a separate room that they'll have from ours that do, like, if they have a card game event or some board game event or something that they can host on that. So we're pretty freed up in the back room.
That's nice. How large is the store? Sounds like pretty good size if you can do that.
The actual building is large.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the storefront, even the storefront's pretty decent size, but their GW is lacking.
Yeah, they have a lot of D&D minis and a lot of like board game section things
and card games.
Games.
Okay.
So they're like an old school. They're just the guy wasn't really into GW, and it's like 4 seconds from Jake's house, so he's forcing us to play there. And so we roll in, and it's a nice, clean store. The guys that run it are nice, but their GW is not. It's non-existent.
Nothing to write home about. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So they must be getting it through another distributor. They probably don't have an account directly with James Workshop then.
No, he does, but he's like,
he does. Okay.
Is
it like the lowest?
I think it's like stock level or whatever. I don't know. You'd know more about that, Jeff. But
right.
Or you got to carry so much stuff, but he just doesn't have a lot. The problem is he doesn't sell enough of it. He'd get more of it, but
of course,
well,
it could
most
be
of the people that most of the people that go in there aren't looking for AoS minis,
right?
We're working on it,
but but the play space where we're at, we had 11 tables set up in there, and we could fit probably 2 more. We thought
we could get 15 tables in there.
You think so?
We could
no, if we butted up tables, if we really squeezed it, we could probably do 15 play areas.
Yeah. Very cool.
I agree.
Now they're not, they're not all wooden tables like you got up at your store, but it's just folding tables that we put together. Yeah. He's got 3 actual game tables, but but we roll the mats out on the card tables, and
nice.
Or the banquet tables. Yeah. Sure. And it's nothing permanent either, so we just have to rearrange everything when we go in there. But
right, so he's got all those for his big card events, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
That sounds good. Sounds like a decent
good
place.
for us. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get down there at some point. I promise. Just gotta line things up with the schedule.
All right, you heard it, Josh.
It's always hard.
It's actual. We're gonna have this recording forever, so. We got it. But so we're gonna do another RTT. Like I said, October, November-ish area. We will post that once we do have the dates, in case anybody's wondering. But until we figure that out, I can't say for sure what the dates are going to be. One event that we do know the dates for
Mm-hmm.
is our GT.
Yeah, the Michigan GT coming right up. We're under a month away.
Oh, your GT.
Okay. Jeff's GT. Yes, Jeff's GT is also planned.
Well, you guys are residents of Michigan. You can have some ownership of it.
Yeah, okay, we'll take that.
Yeah. So
Yep. Go ahead, Jeff.
September 20th through the 22nd is the Michigan GT. Like we talked about earlier, this is our 11th event. And so we started this back in 2013. Oop, I went my camera. I'll readjust that. Yep. Started in 2013 as a little tiny 40K RTT where we had 40 players. And I think last year we had 700 players come through the door. So, yeah, we're doing okay.
Yeah, that's
fantastic.
So, yeah, I'm really excited about this year. It should be a lot of fun. Really looking forward to it. This is the third year, I want to say, in a row that we've sold out the Age of Sigmar event. So we have 100 players sold out, which is amazing. I'm super happy about that. To the point probably where I'm going to add some seats next year. But that just means I got to do some work with terrain. So it's kind of nice.
Ain't that it? You're like, wow, we could really do more, but
there's work involved, right?
Yeah.
That's the challenge. So super excited. So Friday on the 20th, we're having our Age of Sigmar team event, right? And so the team event is a super cool event. I'm very proud of myself for coming up with this idea, and it's a completely sportsmanship-based event. Well, I shouldn't say completely, heavily sportsmanship-based event. So you get your points throughout the event. You do get some points for gameplay, but you also heavily get points by acquiring soft scores. And there's a list of things that you and your teammate can do as a team prior to the event to get a bunch of points, like you have matching haircuts or matching facial hair or matching clothes, all these wacky things. And then also in game, there's a bunch of things that you can do sportsmanship related to garner extra points during the game. Like one of those might be like, if your opponent is rolling at least 10 dice, you can automatically let him hit with all of them. And that gets you a couple points.
Wow.
Things like that. Or, I mean, it's goofy stuff.
Yeah.
The team who's won has never had the best battle record in the event, because that's not what it's about, because the Saturday Sunday event is the one that's about kicking in skulls and taking names. And so I really wanted an event that was all about getting to know the other people that are coming to the GT, smiling a lot, laughing a lot, just letting loose and having a good time. And that's exactly what it does. And so from that point, I feel it's a huge success.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm sad that I didn't sign up for that.
I've been there, like I've gotten there Friday afternoon before and walked in and just checked out everything. And it's wild. It's really, and because the first time I came, I was like, I'll go, I know that they're having this event, so I'll walk in there, and me and my wife's walking around, and then like people are handing each other cookies. And you're going, why does everybody have Tupperware on the table? This is really strange.
Yeah, because if you have a homemade baked good, you get extra points.
I was like, okay. And then I found Mike Roush, and I was like, dude, what's going on here? And he had explained it to me, yeah. But yeah, it's super fun. I'm strongly trying to get up there Friday to play in that.
Cool. I hope you can pull it off.
So yeah, I'm working on it.
Full?
It's last time I looked, it was not.
It is not full, not even close. I mean, we technically have the same amount of tables for that event as we have for the actual AoS event. So, I mean, we can technically fit 100 teams. I mean, it's never going to happen, right? Because that would mean 200 players. So, no, it will not sell out. So, plenty of tickets still available if you want to get in on that event.
Yeah, that's something I'm trying to do. I'll have to see if I can take the day off work and all that kind of thing, but
sure.
Yeah. I'd love to get up there and play some crazy fun team event.
Yeah. It's goofy and it's fun. That's what it's about. And I think it's important as gamers that we actually treat things as a game once in a while and just smile and laugh about it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know awfully too well, like, when you're at an event and you're just like, I'd really like to perform well, you know, and some of that takes over because you're competitive or whatever.
Yeah, sometimes it can.
And sometimes you just get to the end of the day and you go, I didn't play good, or I made a lot of mistakes, and then you just like I personally feel bad when I do that.
Right.
So it's like, crap, I had a crappy day, and I don't like that part of it, you know. So the Friday fun event is just none of that happens, right? Because you don't. That's not what the whole thing's about.
Not what it's about, exactly. And you know, the kind of a little bit of a funny thing is I've had some people who have entered that event at the end who may have, you know, kicked total ass, you know, and just dominated, and then they don't even walk away with anything, you know, and they're kind of upset about it, right? You know, so, well, you know, I don't understand this. We won every single game, you know. I said, well, sorry, but this isn't about winning games. This is about scoring to the metric.
Yep. Yeah, it's very interesting. It's unique because I don't know if anybody. I doubt, at least in our area anyway, that anybody has some kind of event that's not just solely about winning the games and, you know, maxing your score and stuff. Even if it is a teams event or a doubles event or something, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I haven't run into any of them, which, again, this is one of the reasons why I designed it the way I did, just to make it completely different. And it's kind of cool to have an event where, because there are a lot of people who play this game that it's not all about winning games. You know, it's about the experience. And this is an event that's about the experience.
I love it.
For sure.
Now I want to play because I hate team games. I think the rules that a lot of team games have are dumb, where like I move my stuff, then Jake moves his stuff, and then we both attack with our stuff, and then you have nothing left. Good game.
Right.
I hate that. And this sounds actually fun. So anytime Jake's asked me before, you want to play teams event?
I told him, I was like,
I'm like, fuck
Michigan
no.
GT's got a team event, and he goes, yeah, I fucking hate teams. I go, yeah, but it's for fun,
That's
man.
fair. Yeah, right. But it's for fun. Exactly. You know, and like I said, it's, you know, if that was the only thing that we were doing for the whole weekend, it probably wouldn't have the appeal. But since it's just the opening day and just a way to just laugh and hang out with the other people who are there for the same reason you are, it just makes it work, which is one of the cool things about it.
I love it.
You guys also have, and it's just more than just AoS and 40K, right? You guys also have a lot of other game systems up there.
Yeah, we have loads of other things. I'll go through some, but I know I'm not going to get all of it. So if you're really interested, check out our website, michigant.com, and all the events will be listed there. But of course, you know, we have 40K, which is our biggest event. Last year we were at about 125 players, so AoS is catching up. The other thing that's been impressing me about AoS is that it actually, like, the start of the ticket sales is way heavier on AoS than it is on 40K. And I think one of the cool things I think that says is that the AoS player base views the Michigan GT and the value of that ticket. They treat that value very high, right? So they want to get in there and make sure they get their tickets before they get sold out. So it's something I'm really proud about for the event. And I think it says a lot about our community and about the event itself, because you know, we put a lot of time into those tables and that kind of thing, and way more than what your average 2-day tournament would put into their tables. And I think people appreciate that, and it's fun to see them enjoy it. So yeah, we have 40K, we have like Marvel Crisis Protocol, Star Wars Legion, Shatterpoint, War Machine. So I'm already blanking. Old World, we're having Old World this year, which is cool. Lord of the Rings is having a really big event at the GT. I think they have almost 30 players in that event.
They just got a new edition, I think, too, in that game, right?
It's been announced. It is not out.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's coming around the corner, but the Michigan community for that game is exploding. There's a couple of real go-getters who are driving the scene, and the scene is responding, and they're growing by leaps and bounds, which is really exciting to see. It's super cool. So yeah, there's that. We have a historical event there. They change what era they do every single year, so I couldn't begin to tell you what they're doing this year. Last year was some kind of Napoleonics, I think, and this year might be like American Civil War. But they always have this ginormous table in the back corner that's just huge, and they spend both days just playing one game. It's insane.
Oh wow!
But it's super impressive looking, and maybe when I'm retired and I have more time, I'll get into historical stuff. But I don't have time for that at the moment. Let's see. What else do we have?
You have Conquest too, right?
We do have Conquest. Yeah, Conquest. Also another great game. I enjoy that game a lot. Yeah, Conquest. What's that? Marvel Crisis Protocol. What's the other? Oh, Shatterpoint. Yeah. Anyway, like I said, I know I'm not going to do it justice. Not Flames of War, but the other one. World War II skirmish game.
Thought that was not Flames of War. You're right.
Yeah. Bolt Action.
Like my friends.
Bolt Action. That's
Action,
it.
Yeah.
Bolt
I have
Action,
a bunch of buddies that play it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's another one that usually gets a pretty good crowd. Like I said, I've been impressed by the Old World crowd coming out this year too. It looks like a lot of the guys that were 30. We're at 30. Oh no, I take that back, Josh. I'm sorry. We sold out at 30 and we added 10 more seats. So max is currently at 40. And we're not quite there yet, but I'll be shocked if we don't get to it actually, because I think we're up to like 35 or 36 seats sold.
Well, I'll tell you, I started way back with Warhammer Fantasy Battles back in the day, and all my crew played, and that's I played a little Ninth Age when AoS came out. I was one of the people.
Were you a little bitter at first? Okay, yep.
Yeah, and I mean, and I still have square-based models, and my buddies are trying real hard to get it going again.
Right.
Personally, I'm not going to spend any additional money on old models. If it's made in 1989, I don't want it.
I'm with you on that, Josh, big time. It's one of the things I've been the most disappointed at in watching these releases come out is that there might be one or two new sculpts, and then the rest, you're right, it's stuff that was made in 1998, and I think it's kind of BS, honestly, to charge current day dollars for 30-year-old technology, right?
Yep, and that's the thing. I'll print armies for it. Me and Ethan, he's the one of my sons that I play with the most. He was interested, and so we bought the books and we started talking about it. We kind of started printing stuff, and then my buddies kind of fell off the face of the earth. Now all of a sudden, about last week sometime, it started winding back up again. So we'll see. I'm never gonna let that game overtake AoS. I mean I've spent way too much time and energy on AoS.
I feel you.
I had talked to you about Conquest, I think at Adepticon this year. And then, I was like, you know what? I mean, it's another army-based game. It's different, I'm sure, but
it's
I've got
different.
way too much invested in AOS. So I ended up playing Marvel Crisis Protocol. And that's
also a cool game.
Backup.
Yeah. Also a cool game.
And
right.
And so yeah, I mean, but I will play with my buddies just because, back in the day, it's just a little nostalgic for me, and
sure,
playing that game would be good, but yeah, I'm not spending any loot on it.
Yeah, and it's a lot of loot, man. It's a lot of loot.
Yeah. You don't know until you're in it, but yeah, it's just like, oof. Okay, here we go.
Right. Well, and that's one of the reasons why they killed the game off is because the barrier to entry was so high. You just need so many models to get an army on the field. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's way. I feel like it's significantly more expensive and more work than Age of Sigmar.
I agree with that.
So, yep, Age of Sigmar is cheap compared.
Yeah.
So. But it's good to hear that the guys are going to come out and play the game. I'm excited to hear about it.
Yeah. That's how I was like walking around there too, and just checking out the other game systems just to see them, because it's like we don't have you're probably the only one in the state, right, Jeff, that has multiple game system tournaments.
Now we are, yeah. Especially with what Motor City Mayhem falling apart after last year. They were kind of trying to do some of the things that we were doing and having a little bit of success with it, and then they made the mistake of putting an event on Memorial Day, and I think it kind of wiped them out.
Yeah. Can't do holiday weekends.
No, not in Michigan, man.
No.
No, not in Michigan.
No.
Not Memorial Day and Labor Day are taboo. You got to stay away from both of those.
But so anyways, if anybody's interested in any tickets for any of the game systems that Michigan GT is going to have, michigant.com, click it, buy the tickets.
Just jump to the store. You'll see a whole list of events. The descriptions are all in there. And then, obviously the AoS event is sold out. If you're interested in getting in the AoS event, I would highly recommend getting on the wait list, because inevitably people do need to drop at the last minute. It does happen. I will also say that if you're just really want to give it a shot, even though we're sold out, show up the day of, and you never know. I will say that the last 3 years we've been sold out, but I have never had 100% people show up. The best year we had 8 people miss. We fired with 92 on our best year. So there's a really good chance that, if you just want to show up with your army and ready to pay day of, we can probably get you in, but I can't guarantee it.
I mean, that's almost a guarantee. It sounds like a guarantee to me. I mean, if it's that common.
Well, I mean, like if 20 people show up the morning of, I mean, he ain't gonna have 20 seats.
Well, I know, obviously.
Probably true, right? Yeah. So it's not, like I said, I can't guarantee it, but I can say the odds will be in your favor. That's what I'll say.
Cool.
All right. So again, michigant.com. Go there and buy all the Jeff shit.
Yeah, buy all the tickets.
Yeah. Also, you can get merch too, right? You can get dice and t-shirts.
We do have a little bit of merch. Yeah, we have some dice, we have some t-shirts, and then we also have. I think we'll have around 7 vendors at the event. Okay. So we've got a couple local game stores having booths there. Warlord Miniatures will be there. We've had a couple of people that normally come but couldn't make it because Elric's Hobbies is going to be there also. A couple of our vendors just had calendar conflicts this year because our event's a little earlier in the calendar than it normally is.
Yeah. So very good. We'll be there. We'll shoot the shit with you, Jeff, when we get there.
Yeah, can't wait to see you guys. You'll have a good time, guaranteed.
Always a good time.
The only other event on our radar, other than the Michigan GT coming up, is our personal GT that we're going to put together for you guys.
Yeah, I'm getting excited about that.
Yeah, so we've had some discussions with Jeff because Jeff is the mecca of running GTs.
The local expert, which is,
Yeah, I got a little bit of experience. Right.
And it's not just all in his white beard, guys.
No, not all.
That was a bad joke. Sorry, Jeff.
That's okay.
Anyways, but yeah, so we're putting together. We're calling it the Old Man Gaming Open. It'll be in 2025. It's going to be in February. The dates are the 22nd and 23rd.
Cool.
So we're going to try to get that event off the ground and have a yearly February event because I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's pretty good sweet spot for surrounding area events.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like you guys have yours in September/October, right? The High Ground guys do one in April, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's correct.
Adepticon is super popular, so we didn't want to do it the same month as Adepticon because that's still kind of like a striking distance big GT convention to go to.
Yeah, and that's a lot of our locals. You know what I
mean? That's a very big draw for people.
Nope, absolutely. It's smart to not try to compete with that event.
Yeah, and I think what was it, this month alone has Nova and NashCon.
NashCon was earlier in the month, yeah.
Okay.
And I think Nova's next weekend. So it's like you can't really do it around August because there's a lot of events too that people travel to. So I
Right.
think February's sitting right there for us. So
Yeah, I
gonna-
like February. I mean, you do run the minor risk of weather, right?
but we're Michiganders. What's weather?
Yeah, right. Yeah, you can nut up and make the drive. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I think it's a
So-
good
I mean,
month. I'm planning on attending.
Oh, there we go.
Good. I like to hear it. It is later in February, so hopefully, maybe getting closer to less snow since it's the
Sure.
end of winter.
Yep.
So we'll
Yeah.
see.
So we'll see.
We can
It-
hope.
It's always weird here. Some winters you have a lot of snow, some barely at all.
Hard to predict, right?
Yeah. So that's what our plan is. We locked in the dates a little while ago. We announced this. When did we actually announce it? Was it last show?
Maybe two shows.
Two shows ago.
shows.
But we do have the BCP event up, and tickets are on sale.
Are you selling them? Are you selling the tickets through BCP?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very cool. And where are you holding the event?
This event is going to be located in Carlton, Michigan. It's a small little town. However, the place where we're renting is a wedding hall with an attached restaurant and bar.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And how many players are you guys? How many can you fit?
We can. We're going to cap it at 40 for the first GT.
Okay.
We don't want to get too crazy and try to oversell.
I think that's a smart way to go about it. It's way easier to grow into yourself than it is to overshoot.
Yeah, I mean, like right now we're holding 20-man RTTs, right? So we're halfway with the mats and terrain already.
Mm-hmm.
So we got, 6 months or so before February we can bang out another set of 10 and have 20 tables is what we're guessing we're gonna.
We're hoping.
We have to do it right now because that's what we plan for.
No, that's great.
But I think that's a smart play. Do 40, and maybe depending on how the popularity goes, I would guess increase by 20 each year. So maybe by year 3 or so we'd have 80.
Yeah. That's
just
a good plan.
It'll depend, but I'm not trying to
a
double it every year because that'd be wild.
Well, I don't know if you're going to fill it. I
Well,
mean, 80,
that's the other
if we
thing.
get 40, if we sell out 40 and maybe we had 46 people, we could add 3 tables possible. But if we go like 40 to 60, we'll have to wait and see. If we don't fill 60, then we're not going to go to 80, obviously.
Yeah, right. That's totally true. It took us a little while to start selling out. I think we had 3 or 4 years of Age of Sigmar at the GT before we actually sold one of the events out. But then after we sold the first one out, we've sold it out every year since. Yeah. And we've progressively grown it. The first one I think sold out at like 32. Then it sold out at 60, and then it sold out at 80, and now it's selling out at 100. So yeah, that's a good way to do it.
Yep. And to me, and I know RTTs are different than GTs, but we've had a really good, once we've put out the announcements and the ticket sales for the RTTs, they literally sell in a week or two.
Yeah,
we try to do it out 2 months, announce 2 months ahead, just for our sanity, and to give players enough time to figure out their schedules and stuff or whatever. So, and we're doing fine with that. So, like I said, that's what the Michigan player base is real good at, is we're going to that, and we're going to sell it out. And then, like I said, there's always going to be drops, like you said, you know what I mean? But
life happens.
Yeah. It hasn't been too bad on having some people drop and then someone else message you the next day and go, hey, did you have any seats left in that? Because I was thinking about it,
Yeah.
So very high hopes for the GT. We try to put a lot of effort into it. Like Jeff is the perfect one to talk about this. It's like you put all this time and effort into making sure that all your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted, and you have this and you have that, and will the players love this? I don't know. All those back and forths when you're trying to make decisions on what an actual good event is, and try to produce that in a unique way.
Yep. for
and
sure.
It's, you know, it's not just, oh, we're gonna sell tickets and we're gonna give a trophy out. You know what I mean? It's like it's got to be a little bit more than that. At least what we're trying to do. And
right, yeah, you want something a little bit
that,
more.
Yeah,
yeah. You just make you a little bit unique. You don't have to do anything crazy.
Yeah.
Just a little something. And you know, the thing that the players are going to appreciate is, you know, effort to put a quality product out there that they're going to want to attend. You know, if the quality is there and the integrity is there, for you as judges, you got to be consistent and you got to be fair. If you can be consistent and fair and put on an event where people have a good time, they will come back. They will come back. And the cool thing is, you know, once you, like I said, once you get to that sellout point, then all of a sudden it's a commodity, right? Because then your tickets go on sale the next time and like, crap, well, I better get this because it sold out last time.
Yep, exactly right. Yep.
So, anyways, that's our little blurb on our thing. We'll have more coming once we have stuff to show you guys on that. But yeah, so that'll be the dates for that, February 22nd, 23rd. BCP link is in all of our social stuff, so just check it out.
Speaking of social stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like and subscribe. Let's follow the fucking YouTube channel. And we have our Facebook thing now. We have a link tree if you need to get to anything. I don't know if that's on everything. But we have Instagram and TikTok and all the fucking social shit. So join up, follow us, and watch watch our videos.
Josh always hits me with that. And he's like, "Hold on, we got to do something." I go, "What?" I'm looking at our show notes, and he goes, "Yeah, we got to like and subscribe to all our shit." And I go, "Oh yeah."
You got to do that, right? This day and age, especially.
Yep.
One other thing. Let's talk about you guys sponsoring the Michigan GT.
Oh yeah, we're doing that too.
Yep.
You're doing that.
Sponsors
too.
Next. So let's talk about that though.
So real quick, our sponsor section, just so we can get this in there. Andy at Gray Matter Games, awesome dude. Jeff knows him, I'm sure. He helps us out quite a bit. He actually got us up and running. He loaned us some product so we could get players in and get the ball rolling. So big kudos to Andy, awesome dude. We're gonna be getting more stuff from him soon. Most of our stuff will probably 100% of our mats will be from him. But like I said, awesome guy. He's got a ton of product, mats, objective markers. He's got some new products that he told me about, but I'm not going to tell you because it's not official yet. So stay tuned for some very cool things coming from him once he can figure that out. But check out his website. Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'll tell you about it later, Jeff.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I don't know if the internet's ready for that. But also, T. Fritz Treasures. If everybody, you probably know John Anderson. His wife runs an Etsy store, and she does a bunch of other game aid type of things for AoS and 40K through objective markers and measuring gauges. She's also been doing. I don't play 40K, but I know that she makes the clear acrylic bases for terrain that you need, I guess.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. For the buildings and stuff like that. Yes.
So she makes all that too, so you can just attach it right to your terrain, and you don't.
Yeah, there's just footprints, so. Right? There are footprints for the buildings. Yeah.
But she's got some good products. We have some of those around here somewhere that she sent us up before to take a look at. So check her out. T. Fritz Treasures on Etsy. We got links in our shit, so check those out. And what Jeff was alluding to, we are going to be a sponsor for the Michigan GT this year. We are going to donate 2 tickets to our event, so Jeff can hand out for prizes during the AoS event.
I was going to
however you want to do it. Oh, I mean, fuck yeah. Okay. Jeff's got 1 ticket to hand out.
Ticket, yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, that'll be coming to. at the Michigan GT. So
yeah,
I don't
excited
forget
to
about
win
that.
our own tickets.
Yeah, could we do that? Could we win our own tickets and then play in our event?
You can if you want. I mean, you got to actually show up better than you did at the last RTT, but
0-3 isn't gonna. 0-3 day one's not
I
gonna
thought
win you.
I thought the ticket.
That's right.
Yeah, but I thought the ticket to our event was the last place prize.
oh, you want that to be the
if you're in
wooden spoon?
last.
Okay.
Well, you did bad in this event. Go play in this easier.
No.
event.
I'll do average. Nick may win the wooden spoon.
You know, that would actually be kind of entertaining to give one of those away to the wooden spoon. I'm going to think about that.
All right. Oh, that would be hilarious. Actually,
I don't hate that. I don't hate it.
But yeah, so that's the sponsorship part of the show, and that just gets us right into the actual topic. I guess we ran a little bit long up till now. But
Yeah, we're waffling, but that's what.
yeah,
old people
but
do.
that's what we do. We talk Warhammer, and we're old dudes, so
Right.
time's not an issue for us.
Well, me and you.
Yeah.
Maybe for Jeff, but we'll try to.
We're good. Let's sleep.
Okay.
But yeah, anyways, we do have some questions that we want to fire off to Jeff, and this is all going to be based off of running events.
Okay.
So it's
I've
kind of
done
stuff
that
we've
a
already
couple-
been
I've done a
talking
couple.
about.
Yeah, I mean we've touched on some of these already, so maybe it won't be as long as I thought, but we do like your input and insight into this, because I think a lot of people don't know really what goes into running events. I mean, we surely didn't until we started doing it on ourselves, and then
Right.
we were like, "Wow, okay."
Yeah, Josh and I had some discussions on Facebook Messenger, and I think he was a little overwhelmed at first when I was throwing things at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you gave us a lot of good ideas, and every time I'm like, oh, geez, Jake. Jeff said we got to do this. Jeff said we got to do this.
Well, you don't have to do it, but
No, but they're all good
it's
ideas.
what has worked for somebody else, right? And
Yeah,
Yep.
right.
just I'm a big proponent of not reinventing the wheel where possible.
If
And
broke, don't fix
that's right. If someone's got a winning formula, I want to hear it.
So, like, we do appreciate the insight that you've given out, Jeff, and I it's one of those things. Like, I think the AoS community, to me anyway, is one of those where, like, nobody tries to hold anything back, right? It's not like, oh, this is my secret. I don't want to devolve that, or all the
Right.
players are really nice. Like, you know what I mean? It's like no gotcha hammers usually being played unless someone forgot to say something, but it's not like intent or
Right.
any of that. And to be honest, there's been a few other TOs that we have had conversations with that are all the same. It's like, oh man, yeah, this worked for me, or I did this, or maybe you guys should try that, or that kind of thing. So
Right.
that's why we wanted to bring you on and talk with you, just in case anybody else is also looking at running events, but just maybe been hesitant, or they didn't know
Doesn't
where
really
to
know where to start.
Yeah, I think that's what the biggest thing,
Right.
Once-
Knowing where to start is a hard thing, right? And we got started by there was 4 of us that were heading home from a tournament one day, and we decided, hey, let's do a 2-dayer ourselves. We don't have one around, so we saw a hole and we filled it, right?
Okay.
So that being said, just like you guys are talking about, there's nothing really in your area anymore. Southeastern Michigan, there's not a whole lot down there. There's a hole. Motor City Mayhem's gone. Fill it. So you guys, you're filling a hole. Nothing wrong with that. The biggest part is resources, right? As I think you guys are finding out, and it sounds like you were fortunate in partnering up with Gray Matter Gaming there to help you fill some of those shortcomings, because that's one of the hard parts about doing this as an independent organization, is that you don't have your local friendly game stores resources to lean on necessarily, right?
Yeah.
So, you got to come up with the terrain. You got to come up with, the mats, on top. And when we started this, we actually used felt. We just bought a bunch of felt and cut it out to size, because they didn't have gaming mats when we started it. It wasn't even an option.
That is a long time ago.
I know. And then like a couple years in, the tableware mat hit the market and started all up. And then, we reached out to them and like, okay, well, what can you do to help us out? Reaching out to manufacturers and companies and stuff like that and explaining what you're trying to do, who you are, what your goals are, you'd be surprised at some of the responses you'd get from some of these companies. Tableware is a perfect example. I reached out to them. I said, we're having this event. We really could use some mats. And they're like, okay, we'll set you up with a wholesale deal. So, we get all of our stuff for them at wholesale. I mean, just like we were a game store. And there's a lot of places that will do that for, those people out there who are running these events, like what you guys are trying to do, what we're doing at the GT. It's just, I think more people out there are looking to help than what one would think. And just starting a conversation, reaching out to people, you'd be surprised at where you end up.
Yeah, I think we're in the middle of that actually right now. Even is, I think for me anyway, it's like also a weird thing to actually ask, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you go, I don't know, would these guys even give a shit about us? Or, like if I ask a bunch of people and we don't get any responses, then I guess we don't, whatever. I'm just saying, like the ball rolling part of that is all those thoughts about, I don't know, will this work or not?
Sure. Well, and this will go back to some of the best advice I ever got in my life. I was like 15 or 16 years old, and we're hanging out with my best friend's uncle, and he looks at us and he goes, "She's already said no unless you ask." And that has really stuck. It's really stuck with me. And they've already said no unless you ask. It can't hurt to reach out and ask.
Sure.
Will most people not be interested? Sure. Most people won't be interested. But, if you get a 10, 15, 20% response that are interested, that adds up.
That's enough. Yeah. And then you can build a relationship with those people.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And another important thing is, when you make a commitment to a sponsor, to sponsor your event, you got to do your best in meeting those responsibilities that you committed to, right? So you got to make sure that you're getting their products in photographs, and you're reaching out to your following on social media and thanking those sponsors, and getting links to their websites, and and attracting customers, or at least attention to those sponsors. It makes a big difference.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the things that is what's on our mind right now is, all right, are we going to pull the trigger on this stuff, or are we going to try to, more or less kind of just go with the flow and do it ours without trying to have some extra sponsorship with it?
Sure. Maybe in the first year, that's not a horrible idea, I mean, because you're not selling anything yet, right?
Yeah.
Right now you're selling an idea.
Yeah.
Right.
Year two, now you're selling a successful event. And so it will be an easier sell in year two. But it sounds like you already have some ins with a couple people. I mean, it sounds like Andrew over there at Gray Matter is on board helping you guys out. Your local store that you guys play at and shop at all the time. I mean, maybe they would jump on board for a small sponsorship. You never know.
Yeah, and I think that's the key. I think Jake's brings that to the table. I think I have resting bitch face, and people don't really talk to me. I go to events and I just don't make buddies. But Jake is friends with literally everybody at every event. He meets them like one time, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, Jake Myers, yeah, great guy."
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah.
Bert.
Yeah.
I got that. I got a likable face, I guess.
Maybe.
Or maybe I
You
make
have-
good jokes too.
You
I
have
don't
you
know.
have a good laugh, and that can carry you a long way.
There you go. Now I see when I heard that, I heard Jeff thinks I'm funny. So I get
You
something
are
out of that.
funny. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
You are. Yeah. I mean, I laugh at you the whole time whenever we play games. So.
yeah. I've never beat Jeff in a game before, so that's cool.
Well, you know, neither is Rob Mulshine. So.
Oh wow, that's a dagger, man. Good thing Rob
Yeah,
doesn't watch this shitty show we got.
And
Yeah,
Roush has only beat me once, and I beat myself.
I was
that
gonna
game
say.
even, so.
There you go.
Wow,
Yep,
Jeff,
I was
Jeff's
talking
like
to you.
throwing down the damn gauntlet off here.
No,
Right.
I'm in both their heads. It's fine.
So you've been obviously is AOS the only thing that you've run at MIGT?
No. I started off. I mean, like I said, originally we were a 40K event, right? Way before Age of Sigmar even existed.
Oh, so you were a 40K boy.
I was a big 40K player for a long time. Although I was a heavy 40K player through into 8th edition. Into 8th edition is when I started picking up Age of Sigmar.
Okay.
So yeah, I did that. Also, towards the end of 7th, I really started to play a lot of Horus Heresy because I didn't enjoy where 40K was going with all of the what were those things called? Not the regiments, but something similar to that, right? I can't remember what they were called now, but it was like this regiment that if you took everything in this regiment, then you got a free upgrade for having this group of models, and they were just so far out of balance, and everyone got free things left and right. I was just like, this isn't even fun anymore. So that's when I started playing a lot of 30K because that was super level, level fielded.
Pretty even,
and,
I've heard.
You're right. It was very even, and I really enjoyed that part of it. And not to mention the models were super cool too. And then I did that for a while, and then Age of Sigmar came out, and we dabbled in that a little bit at first, but then we're like, this no point thing is just stupid. So that prevented us my group from really getting into it. And then when the General's Handbook first came out, then we're like, okay, let's give this a real shot. And we did, and I haven't looked back since.
Okay. So you probably your first tourney ever was probably 40K.
Oh yeah, but yeah,
right.
Tons and tons of 40K tournaments. I used to be an outrider for GW back in the day, so I ran a lot of events at the local store. I did that a ton. Like I said, then the GT came, and the first 4 or 5 years of that was solely 40K, and then I did run the Horus Heresy events at the GT for a few years also. And then our AOS person decided they didn't want to do AOS anymore at the GT, so I picked that up, and I've taken that over ever since. I think this is my fifth year running Age of Sigmar at the GT. Yeah,
Okay.
That sounds right.
All right, cool.
Well, I'll say this on a personal note, Jeff. You run a great event for AOS.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yep. I've had my very okay. I'll tell you this. I might have told this a while back, but 2 years ago, was my very first ever Michigan GT, which happened to be my very first ever tournament I've ever attended.
Really? Okay, you started big.
And I was there by myself. I knew no one other than my wife that I brought with me.
Okay.
Because I think maybe Josh couldn't make that year or something.
I don't remember. I wasn't a big tournament.
Oh well, yeah.
goer.
You weren't playing a lot of tournaments then anyway, so maybe you just didn't want to or something. I don't know.
I only went to Adepticon. That would have been the only one that I really went to. I didn't really know much about MIGT, and so Jake kind of turned me on.
Yeah, so it was like, okay, well, I'm going to show up and I'm going to play this game that I've practiced in our basements for like a year.
So what inspired you to go by yourself?
I wanted to play a tournament.
Okay.
Like, we got to the point where, Josh taught me the game, introduced me to the game. We played a ton. I mean, we were playing, 3-4 nights a week or something when I first started playing.
Yeah.
And it was like, all right, going to Josh's house again tonight and got to play a game. But, I think I felt like I got to the point where I understood the game enough to where I could go to an event. Where I didn't feel like I was like, oh, I don't know how to play this, or maybe I felt intimidated by the whole thing or whatever. So I was like,
yeah, that makes sense.
And Josh will tell you too, I'm a little bit more outgoing myself. Like I'll just show up to a place, I can make a friend and whatever. I don't have a problem talking to people.
Sure.
So yeah, I came to the event. I had a ton of fun. Learned quite a bit. I actually, my very first game at my very first GT, which is MIGT, was against Michelle Anderson, believe it or not.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
She did not have a good event that event.
No. She
had a good time.
She hated me, but still liked our game. She didn't like the fact that the Terrorgeist popped off.
Right.
However, it was really cool because she was, since I had played her first, I saw her walking around and stuff, whatever, and she would come up to us every once in a while and ask how we're doing, and, because my wife was there just sitting with me, because, what is she going to do? She don't know anybody there either.
Right.
But Michelle was real personable and kind of like, it was one of those, kind of like an icebreaker thing where it was like, okay, I know her now because I played her in a game. So we would have conversations back and forth throughout the event. And, so since that event, it was like, green light, baby, let's go. Let's go to other events, and start bringing Josh. And
what did your wife think of that first event?
I was a little nervous about that because my wife is not a nerd.
Okay.
Opposite of nerd would be my wife. She doesn't like any of the games I play. She won't play them with me. Yeah, stuff like that, So when I said let's go up there, she was like, I think she thought cool, I'll get a weekend away out of this. And then we spent 12 hours playing the first day, 8 hours playing the second day, total time.
Right. Yeah.
And I told you this is something I didn't realize. I didn't realize the toll on your damn body after 3 straight games of Warhammer, hunched over a table.
On a concrete floor.
Yeah, we were like, oh, I'll get done with playing the games and we'll be done by, I don't know, 7, 8 o'clock or something. We'll go out to dinner. We'll go out and you know what we did? We got back to the hotel room. We ordered DoorDash. I took ibuprofen and we went to bed.
Yeah,
and I think I sold that to you because back in the day when I went to Warhammer fantasy events, it would be like I was younger and we'd go out to the bar or go out to the casino and we're like, oh yeah, running. Now we're old. Yesterday we played that RTT, and today I was groaning, moving around. I'm like, Ethan, I can barely move. It's like, what the hell is going on? We fucking played with plastic toys, and I can't even freaking move right now. So
yeah, you're an old man now, Josh.
So anyway, that was my introduction to tournament play. Was your event, Jeff? And
well, that's awesome that you came back for more.
Yeah, I think. Well, and to your point too, is if you run a good event, you'll get return customers.
Oh, 100%.
If I would have had a total shitty time and I thought it was hey, this ain't for me, then it, you know what I mean? I wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah,
probably.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely.
At all, which is crazy because you could go to an event that's totally shitty and have a shitty time, but he just happened to go to your event, which happens to be the best one around. And so, you sold him, and now here we are. We're doing
now he's an
shows and
right. And first hit's free.
Our own tournaments.
This is Jeff's fault. So if you guys don't like our YouTube show or think we're total toolboxes, it's Jeff's fault that he got us started. Yeah. Oh yeah, fun times, man. So, I guess. Well, this is something I wondered about too. Is when do you start planning? like how far out does it take?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. When you get more efficient at it, the more years you get into it. That being said, you can also kind of get to the point where you kind of resting on your laurels a little bit, and things can come up and bite you in the butt. I think in the years that we've been like the best prepared, we usually start working on things at around February. Well, no, probably after Adepticon. That's usually our marker of time, trying to get things ramped up. So early April for an October event, so it's about 5-6 months ahead of time. That being said, there are some things that we really should be getting done, prior to that, which have more like a January or February lead in, which is like reaching out to the sponsors, and those types of things. Because a lot of companies, have a budget that they have for supporting events. And if you're not hitting them up before they've gotten their budget all worked out, you're going to be up the creek. So you want to be on their minds as they're forming their yearly budget that, oh, hey, this is an event that we want to sponsor. So we got to make sure that we set aside some resources to go to that event.
Okay. So well, I know. I heard you say the comment before, like, "Hey, once the Michigan GT is over, I'm cashed out for a little bit because my wife needs my attention and all that." So I'm sure that's why I was like, it's got to take a lot of time out of your normal week each week to go. Did I do this?
No, it can. And again, we have a pretty decent sized team, right? So there's definitely some diversifying of responsibilities, which does help a lot. I'm not doing this by myself. That being said, there is a number of things that do fall, on my plate. Like, for example, today I spent almost the entire day, working up the artwork for all of our banners and stuff that we have up around the facility, so that our advertisers get the exposure that we promised that they would get at the event. And so, yeah, that was my Sunday today, is
okay,
working in Photoshop all day. It was great.
And now staying up all night with us.
And then, staying up all night with you. Yeah.
Sorry.
I can think of worse things to do. I got to be honest.
Yeah. Well, it's fun. I always enjoy when we have conversations.
No, it's awesome. I love talking about nerd stuff. It's all good.
So, like Jake said, we're a couple of guys trying to run our first GT. I've gotten a lot of advice from you, but if we weren't us and you were talking to somebody brand new and they were coming at you, give us like maybe your top 2 tips, advice for just like trying to get things going.
Okay, for trying to get things going, top 2 tips. Okay, if you're trying to get things going, go cheap. Don't get in over your head with finances. Take your time. Don't spend more money than you can afford. You can easily do it, as I'm sure you guys know. So start off on being fiscally responsible. Is tip number 1, and then tip number 2 is get out in the community and expose yourself in the event that you're trying to run as diversely as possible within a couple hour drive of where you're going to have the event.
Okay, so attend some RTTs in other areas, talk about your thing, have our RTTs, and try to get people to
because almost every RTT you go to, local tournament, whatever you want to call them, I've never run into one that would tell me no, but if you go into the TO who's running that event, at the end of the event, just go up to them and say, hey, I got something coming up. Do you mind if I, share the information with everyone here? They're always going to say yes. And one of the big reasons is we're a community and we want to see it grow. We want to see it thrive. So take advantage of that. Be a part of the community. Because if you want to have a decent sized event, or even the 20-man events like what you guys are talking about running every couple months, people got to know you. They got to want to come to your event, and the best way to have that happen is for you to go out in the community, show them the kind of person you are, the character that you have, you're fun to be around, or at least you're a quality individual to be around, even if you're not fun. And just, just get out there.
Like me. I'm not fun. Jake's fun. We're like good cop, bad cop.
But you're a good dude.
Yeah.
And
you may not be fun, but you're all right.
You may have resting bitch face, but you're a good hang. You know?
There you go.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Shit, man.
So, like, what do you think makes a great event for people to attend? Like, what do you think is a really important thing that you kind of have to do at every event? Like, I heard you talk earlier. You had said like, be fair with your rulings, and anything
right.
Other than that.
Be consistent. Be fair. Have a schedule and stick to it. Also. Now, this is a pet peeve of mine, but I always try to build enough time into the rounds where the vast majority of my people are finishing games to a natural finish. A lot of times you see events, they try to squeeze a game of Age of Sigmar into 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
I don't think it's realistic for most people. There are some people, like the Mike Roush of the world, who plays really fast and also comes to realize when a game is over and isn't going to drag things out, right? That being said, you're allowed to drag things out because you're paying for that time. And if you want to fight down to the last man, you should be able to fight down to the last man if that's what you want to do. So I try to build in 3-hour rounds for my events because I want as many games coming to a natural conclusion as possible.
Love it.
Yeah, I would say that's really important. I have some feel bad moments just because of that kind of thing.
Sure.
Where you go, man, I've had a game before where it's like you're my opponent and myself both knew if we played one more round, like if we had the time to play one more round, I would win. But we don't have the time. You know what I mean? That's where it's like, it's too bad of a thing when you don't have the time to built in to get the game all the way through or whatever. But
it's a bitter pill to swallow sometimes. Yeah, for sure. And even at 3-hour rounds, not everyone is going to finish. I mean, it's just not going to happen. But at least the majority will finish, and that's what I'm going for. Because if I'm getting 50 to 60% of people finishing in games, that's not enough, and we're doing something wrong, or we're not giving enough time, or whatever it is. And I really like to see people finishing games when possible, because exactly what you're talking about. There's nothing worse than having to give a game away because you ran out of time and you were in position to win the game. That just really stinks, and it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. And if I can have fewer bad tastes in people's mouths at my events, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And honestly, what's the difference between going to dinner at 6 versus 7, right? Who isn't really going to be willing to go an hour later because and for in the trade-off getting to finish games?
Jake's wife.
I'd rather finish the game.
Right.
That was mistake number one, is bringing your wife to an event.
Yeah, I mean, I think she enjoys getting out of the house.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
My wife, you couldn't pay her enough to go to one of these events. As a spectator, she does come up and help us out a little bit for registration and stuff, but that's just her marital duties.
Nice.
Let me, and I don't know this offhand, so I was kind of curious about this one point, because I do a lot of our social media work, whether that's just trying to advertise your event through all the various avenues you have, or posting pictures and videos here or there to see, it is it's one thing to look for an event on BCP or something, right? Or go to somebody's website and they're like, oh, there's a tournament. But it's another thing if you can see some of the action from some of those tournaments or past events or something that you go, okay, it's in a cool place, the venue's nice, oh, hey, I know that guy, right? Like, that guy's in a photo, I've played him before, he's a cool dude,
Right.
and that kind of thing. So do you use, how much social media do you guys actually use for the Michigan GT?
Not as much as we probably should. It's ebbed and flowed over the years. It's just, it's one of those things where the team that runs the event, we're all in way different places than we were 13 years ago when we started this. It's just as we've gotten more and more responsibility at our jobs, we can't sneak away during work hours and do social media stuff as much as we used to be able to do that. So it's not at the peak that it has been in the past. That being said, we should be doing a better job of getting a volunteer or something like that to step in and do it. We do have a woman that does help us out with that quite a bit now, but it could be even better than what it is. Let's just say that. And, we try to get out there and advertise, the key dates and that kind of thing. But we could be better. And I also think we could be leveraging our captive email addresses that we have better than we are. We should be sending out like way more newsletters and things like that directly into people's mailboxes, people who've previously attended the event, because, to buy a ticket, you got to give us your email address, right? And those would probably be way more effective than even just social media posts would be, because it's just going directly to a person that is interested.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah, we just got to do it.
For emails.
Well, you're going to get them, right? You're going to get them
through best close pairings or whatever.
Right. And then and I don't know, you could do hey, join my email list or whatever. I don't know if people would respond to that or not, but they're definitely going to respond to it by giving you it every time they sign up for one of your events, right? So, you guys have done two events already through BCP, so you've already started, building this list of interested customers. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's smart. Yeah. I think we've talked about a lot of the questions we had. We have just a couple of things. We're gonna ship you out of here. What's your favorite thing? Like your favorite part about running the AoS event at MIGT? And are you sad you don't get to play in your own event? Because
yeah, I'm always sad I don't get to play. Right. I love to play. I do love to play. But I also love building community. That is, that's one of the reasons why I've invested into a local game store, right? So, I can build community. I can foster the community I want to be a part of. I've always been big into that. I'm sorry, what was the first part of your question, Josh?
What's your favorite thing about running that
part?
event?
Yeah, so my favorite part is looking at all of the cool armies that everyone puts together for the event. That's the coolest part. That's the part I like the most. I'm a big painter. I paint a lot. I care a lot about my presentation of my army. If you see me at an event, you're probably not going to think my army looks horrible. You're probably going to go, oh, it looks pretty good. And so I like to see what other people are up to and bring them to the event. I really like the display board portion, because I think a lot of people really put that extra effort into that portion. And you can just see some, really neat dioramas, which I think is super fun, super interesting. Yeah. And I just get a lot of enjoyment over seeing people's artistic expression come out.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I think that's an important part also. I've read places where people are like, oh, this is a tournament. You shouldn't even care about painting. I think that's garbage. I get into these fights all the time, Josh, all the time. Yeah.
And I think I'm old school GW, right?
Me too.
I've been in this hobby for a really long time. And the thing I like to emphasize is that it is a hobby. As you guys well know, the number of hours that you spend playing a game against somebody else versus the number of hours you sit at your hobby desk is not even comparable.
No.
Yeah.
Not even close.
It's just so much more time is spent at the hobby desk than it is actually playing games. And I like to see that that effort and, artistic expression rewarded. And I will always have soft scores rewarded at my events. That's just how I am. If you don't like it, sorry, but run your own GT and we'll see who shows up.
Yeah, that's I said the same thing when Adepticon moved to Milwaukee. There was a lot of complaints about people. Oh, well, I won't be able to go anywhere because it's not in Chicago and I live here. And it's like, okay, well, run an event.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
if you think you could top Adepticon,
right.
Good luck. Go get them.
Yeah. Chicago Con, right? Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyone who says they can't make the extra hour drive to Milwaukee versus Chicago is just full of shit anyway. So you're just looking for a reason to complain.
Right.
Yep, I would agree with that. One last thing, Jeff, that we do have to ask you, because I think it's pretty pertinent as event attendees that we would like to know from someone running events, is do you guys have plans or some kind of ideas on how you would amp your events up over the next couple of years? Do you guys kind of have like some kind of roadmap thing that you're going, okay, we're going to hit these milestones and this is how we're going to do it?
Yeah, no, we don't do that. We're already to the point where this is bigger than anything that, we ever dreamed of when we started this whole thing. We're not looking to become Adepticon. We don't have no interest in that. This is some people who are doing this in their spare time. Anything much bigger than what we got. I mean, we might, I don't know. There are going to be some things changing in the next year or so, as far as, getting some different people involved in running some portions of it and that kind of thing. And I could see a world where we start incorporating some card events into the GT. So like the Magic or, the new Star Wars Unlimited, those types of things. And I think that could drive a higher number of people to the event. I could see a world where that happens. I'm not sure what the world looks like where we would really ramp up miniatures, at vastly higher numbers than we already have. And I think we're already drawing pretty well. And, we're in Lansing. So it's not the easiest place to get to, if you're coming from any kind of significant distance, because you got to fly into Detroit and rent a car, there's no easy way into Lansing. Let's just say that. Not that it's hard to get to, but if you're flying in, it's not the easiest place to get to. Let's just say that.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
And that's okay. It's totally okay, right?
Yeah. It's something that I've wondered about too. Is just like, with us starting, I was like, I wonder about that. How do they map out how they're going to do, or is it just the fact that it organically grew? And
it organically grows, right? And the only thing that we're worried about increasing size of is something that sold out last year, right? If an event isn't selling out, then it's the right size. That's all there is to it. But if it is selling out, then we look at throwing some resources towards that event and maybe growing it by an extra, 10 to 20% and see what happens.
Right.
Because it doesn't make sense to grow it by 50%, because if you don't sell the tickets, then you just wasted all that money.
And space.
Space is a huge commodity. Huge. And space is flipping expensive.
Yeah. I don't want to know what your guys' numbers are.
It's not cheap. It's not cheap, and not at all. Another interesting thing I've overheard some of the smaller games, saying that, sometimes people can complain about the ticket price a little bit, right? And so some of these smaller games are like, oh yeah, well we're just supporting 40K or the Warhammer stuff, and I'm like, you know what? That's not true at all. If anything, it's the other way around, where the 40K and the AoS events are actually supplementing the smaller events, because we don't give out. We give a way higher percentage of ticket value in prizes at the smaller events than we do at the big events. And it's just how it works out, right? But it's a thing. And I will say out there to everyone out there is, we don't pull. That's the other thing. If you're looking to get into doing tournaments, don't expect to make any money. It's not a money-making endeavor. You're doing it because you love the community and you're trying to bring a bunch of people together to an event that you would enjoy yourself. That's what you're trying to do. That's awesome. We've been doing this for 13 years and we haven't put a penny in our pocket for 13 years. Anything that we make above and beyond the cost goes right back into the event, more terrain, more mats, more everything. And, that's just how we've always approached it. That's been our goal from day one. Don't lose money. And because the time that we lose money is the time that we close our doors and we're done.
Yeah. Yep. You don't want it to cost you. And I think we're kind of working on the same adage. We're doing our RTTs and using that to kind of help fund our mats and stuff. And then everything else eventually goes into prize support and things like that. So,
yeah, it's a great way to do it.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, I think that is all the questions we have.
Yeah. If we have any more questions, I guess we'll shoot you a text or something.
You know where I'm at. Yep. You know where I'm at. You know how to find me.
But, thanks for staying up probably way past your bedtime.
We're good.
I almost do.
No worries.
Yeah. It's a little long. We had some technical difficulties to start, I suppose.
We're good.
Mainly because Josh keeps clicking on shit. But one of these days I'll get him not to click, and then we'll get to go.
Well,
but thanks a lot, Jeff. Again, MichiganGT.com for all your needs for that event coming up in September. Please check it out. Like 20. I said, if you got to hear my little blurb about how I got started on playing events, that's all I did, man. Just go to Jeff's event, and you're gonna get hooked for all your money and all of your time, and you know what I mean. Like, it's fine if you don't see your kids for a couple years or whatever. Just paint your armies up, and
I got one more piece of wisdom for people.
Okay.
So, just go to the events. If you have an event near you, just go. You're going to get out of it what you want to get out of it. If you want to be a hardcore tournament competitive player, you can do that. If you want to just be a laid back, have fun for 5 games kind of player, you can do that too. What you want is what you're going to get. The energy you put forth is the energy you're going to get back.
Yeah, I will say that I have met some pretty good friends over the last couple of years just by going to events.
Yeah,
and you never know. Like you get randomly paired into playing a game with a guy, and you may talk to them every day or every week for the next couple of years because whether they came in from another state or whatever, you meet up. You hook up on Discord or whatever, and then you have conversations about Warhammer, and that's just how it goes.
Yeah, you got something in common right away, right?
Right.
Yep.
And
love it.
Yeah, so that's why we're doing all of this. That's why we do our YouTube show. We like Warhammer. We like playing events. We like meeting people. We like having fun games. Hell, we got to meet this old ass man, Jeff. Fuck.
I know, right?
All right. So
never would have happened otherwise.
Right.
Right.
But yeah, so thanks again, Jeff, for coming on, giving us your time so we can prod and poke you with questions.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man. And if you want to catch all 3 of us in the same building at one time, it's Michigan GT. That's where you got to be.
We'll be there.
Be there.
All right, bud. Appreciate it. And everyone else,